Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Stacy. And y'all, today is gonna be a little different, a little deep, might get a little emotional for me, but nevertheless, I'm gonna do this. So before I tell you the subject, let me go ahead and get the preliminaries out the way. Please like this video, leave your comments down below, as well as share this video if you feel like it will help somebody else. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. So with that, I'm gonna say this, sorry. Hey, my BSSTs, my brown sugar sweet things. Thank y'all for yet again rocking with me, tuning in. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And I hope that there's something that you're going to see or hear that's going to keep you interested, that makes you want to come back. So, this is the subject. I did a video the other day that was a story time, and it was the first time I found out I was pregnant with my first child. Well, not the first time, but when I found out I was pregnant with my first child. Well, this is a question. This is one of many questions that was asked. But before I even get to the question, I just want to say thank you for everyone that even shared their story in the comments, because there are a lot of you that's been rocking with me for a long time that has experienced the same thing or was in the same situation, but your outcome was different. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how many videos I'm gonna do concerning this subject, but this is a real subject, and I know for a fact I'm gonna want to discuss it, and I'm gonna want to address all the different things that were said. So, one of the questions that was asked by one of my longtime followers that has been rocking with me truly from day one, Belinda Joy, she asked that question, and it was an excellent question, to be honest, because it's so many different things I could say about this one thing, but this was one question that she asked, and I want to talk about it right now. And that was, she said, knowing what you know now, what would you, if you could go back, what would you say to 13-year-old Stacy, or Sweetie, because that was my nickname? What would you say to her before 14-year-old Stacy had sex? And that was a very good question. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot, I would say. For starters, if I could go back and talk to 13-year-old Stacy, I would have told her, first and foremost, don't allow people to pressure you, because that's where it all started. Don't allow people to pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do, that you're not comfortable with, but you're doing it really to please people because of the pressure. That has been one of my biggest faults my entire life, and I'm 50 now. So I tend to do things, and I have that. Now, there are some things, in all honesty, that when it come up, if I have no, if there's no interest there, there's no, I wonder, if there's nothing like that there, I'm not moved. And one thing being, in all honesty, is drugs. Because of what I've always known, seen, and I've learned at an early age in high school, in health class, 8th grade, that you could be, if you try drugs, you can get hooked on it for the first time. I never had an interest in trying it. I'm like, they might be lying. You might not get hooked on it and be addicted to it the first time, but I'm not going to test the theory. So, again, I use that as an example, as regardless of what people, and I've had people that ask me to try different things, and I'm like, no, that ain't for me, not gonna try it, don't want it, no curiosity. And from that day to this one, I've never done it. But when it came to 13, it was a lot of things that affected my decision that I would have said to 13-year-old Stacy. number one, like I said, don't allow people to pressure you into doing anything that you're not comfortable with doing or that you don't want to do. But there's a domino effect as to how 13-year-old Stacy even got to that point. Again, part of my story, and I've been wrestling with myself all day today because I had to honestly say to myself, I want to tell my story, but I'm afraid in the sense that to tell my story, I'm going to have to also, in all honesty, tell my mother's. And we're in a very good place now. We haven't always been there, but we're in a very good place now. And I don't want to mess that up. So there's a fear there that I'm afraid that I'm battling within myself as to what can I say and what can I share, and that it won't look like I'm trying to, be real negative or say something that's gonna hurt her, or I don't want that. So today has been a real struggle for me on today, because I've been really battling within myself, because I'm like, okay, I don't know who all watch my videos in my family, to be honest, because let's just be honest, a lot of times family and friends be watching stuff, but they'll never let you know. So I don't know who all in my family is watching. I don't know who all might hear something or see something and then call my mama, and her nickname is Boo. Be like, Boo, have you seen, or Aunt Beverly, have you seen Stacy video, and da-da-da-da. And then that creates a problem that I've worked 50 years not to have. So that part of me, I'm be honest with you, it's hard. But I also had to say, Stacy, when you tell your story, you don't know who all that's going to help. If it don't help but one person, you have accomplished what you're trying to do. And so with that, like I said, I've been battling today, but I made a decision. I got to keep going. I can't turn around now. That's been my problem all my entire life, is that I'm always trying to protect other people's feelings. But the question is, who was there to try to protect mine? It's a lot of things. Like I said, who I am today, I'm not her anymore. Same as with my mother. My mother was one way then, but with life and life lessons and growth and wisdom, she's a totally different person now. And so that's my fear, but I got to keep moving. So again, number one, I would tell 13-year-old Stacy, don't do something out of pressure. Number two, a lot of what I have dealt with my entire life is the fear of rejection and the fear of abandonment. Because I was raised by my grandparents. And like I said, this is no shade or nothing, but I'm giving it to you from what I've battled all my life. And that is, I used to always say, I am my mother's only child. I already had to deal with the fact that my dad did not, my father, whatever you want to call him, was not there. There was periods throughout my life that he was for a brief moment, but overall he wasn't. And you got to understand what was presented to me as a child, because you got to understand there was an absence. I didn't see him. I didn't know pretty much anything about him. The only thing that I did see that was pretty much about him was my grandfather, his dad. And he died when I was 16. So it's like what kept the communications and kept everything going was his dad. And when I tell you, it was rough, y'all. At 13, if I truly believe in my heart, had I not battled with rejection and the fear of abandonment, trying to understand why I wasn't good enough, why, even though my mama had one child, why she wasn't there to raise me. Pretty much, now financially, when it came to material things, I didn't want for nothing. My mom took very good care of me, but the emotional, physical part, she wasn't there. She had other things going on. But then I had, you know, at that age, at 13, you don't know what your parents going through. All you see is what's being presented to you. So as I got older, I've learned more things, and so a lot of things are starting to make sense now. But at 13, it didn't make sense. All I knew was at 13, I was an only child by my mother. Her parents was raising me. I hardly ever saw her unless she was bringing me something or I was getting in trouble, and she was the disciplinary. She was the one that would come and chastise me. But other than that, I didn't see her. I never felt loved by my mom, to be honest, and I definitely didn't feel loved by my father. Now do I know my mom loves me, but at 13, I didn't feel it, and I'm just being very real. I honestly used to ask my grandmother, was I adopted? Because I'm like, there's no way that can be my real mama. She too mean. But at that age, I did not know the struggles and the fights and the things that she was dealing with. Again, I'm 13. I'm seeing it from a 13-year-old point of view. And I always felt like, and I used to cry so bad because I'm like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? If the two people that's supposed to be there and they're supposed to love me, if they're not there, I can't expect nobody else to love me. I can't expect nobody else to be there. And so that did create a wall. When I tell you my guard was up so high, I still wrestle with that to this day of trusting people. But I am better because now I do give people the benefit of the doubt, and I will trust you until you give me a reason not to trust you. Whereas then, I didn't trust nobody. And I felt myself being mean. Believe it or not, y'all, I was somewhat of a bully because I was hurting and I want to project that on other people. And there were some things that I did that I'm not proud of because I'm like, it was out of hurt and out of rejection and out of abandonment and out of feeling like I just wasn't good enough. So that really did affect the rest of my life. And at 50, I'm learning. It doesn't affect me as bad, but sometimes I find myself battling with, if I do this, if I act this way, if I say this, if I do certain things, will I be rejected? And at 13, I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and like I said, I was angry. And I didn't even want to have sex, to be honest. I did it out of pressure. And I would tell 13-year-old Stacy, it's not worth it. I love my son, and he grew me up quickly. But the fact that I had a child with someone who to this day, and my son is 35, and he's never met his father, he's never met anybody on that side of his family, does that hurt? Hell yeah, it does. And it makes me feel some kind of way about my judgment. And I've had to struggle with that my whole life. Because understand something, I became a mother at 14. And at 14, it wasn't about Stacy no more. I couldn't sit over there and wallow in my feelings. I had to keep it moving. I had to keep going. So, y'all, I don't encourage nobody to have sex before they're ready. Don't do it out of trying to crowd please. Don't do it out of curiosity. Don't do it because you feel rejected and because this person is showing you attention. Because see, this is what happens. I wasn't getting the attention I needed from the people I needed to get it from. And when I was getting it from somebody else, then I felt like it made me feel like I was cared about, I was wanted, I was loved. And that turned out not to be the case. I was just convenient. I was naive, and I was an opportunity. And when that opportunity became, oh, this is permanent, this was a permanent problem, then nothing, it's like I end up having to raise a child. Thank God I had the support of my mother, because she did jump in and she did help me, and she did financially take care of my child, because I couldn't do it. I was 14. But it set the scenery for so many other things in my life. So yeah, if I could go back and talk to 13-year-old Stacy, I would tell her, don't do it. It's not worth it. I didn't even like it. That's the thing. And I was mad with myself for a long time. For a very long time. I was angry with myself. And that's why when I don't want to do something that people keep trying to push, that's why I get so angry and I snap, or I just go into shutdown, because I'm like, if I say no, leave it there. And sometimes I'm like, okay, Stacy, stop trying to be a crowd pleaser. You're so concerned about, oh, you don't want to upset this person, so you doing X, Y, Z, knowing you don't want to do it. I stopped doing that. I'm not going to say a long time ago, because in certain areas I was very hard-nosed and I wouldn't budge, and then in other areas I was very soft and pushover. So that was a word I just made up. And I got better with parenting as I had more kids. And if there was things that I can go back, and I honestly, even to this day, there are things I wish me and my son, because we was good for a long time, and then at 16, things just went left. I wish we were better. I wish me and my older son was as good and as close as me and my other three. And it's like we're good, but we don't have that close-knit relationship that I have with my other three, because he left home at 16. And that's a story for a different day. That's yet another story time. But he left home at 16. And I truly believe in my heart that to this day, he blamed me for not having a relationship with his dad. But I tried. Even after I had him, I sent pictures to his dad. I sent the information. I was always trying to reach out, to no avail. I never got a response, even down to probably about 4 years ago. I tried to find him on Facebook. About 4 years ago, I tried to find him on Facebook, and I truly believe I found him. And I inboxed the person, and after I inboxed and I said who I was and said what I had to say, all of a sudden, the account was gone. And I felt some kind of way, because I'm like, I remember that was at 21. Let me say this, at 21, I remember reaching out to my son's father And I remember, you know, he was like, okay, he'll see him, XYZ. But he wanted to see me first. And I'm like, why? And his thing was to see if there's anything there with me and you. Excuse me? So, of course, I rejected the offer. And I didn't hear from him no more. And like I said, I reached out again. I could never find him on social media. I found him. And I truly believe in my heart that was him. And it might not be. But when I sent the message, if it wasn't him, all the person had to do was respond and say, I'm sorry, I'm not the person you're looking for. But that was not the response. The account got shut down. So, and I never shared that with my son because I didn't want, first of all, to get his hopes up high. And I definitely didn't want to disappoint him. So, again, he's 35. But he has 2 girls of his own, and he's been married for, 11 years, I think, now. Wonderful father. He has his hang-ups, but he's doing it. And he you know, he's like, I'm going to be there for mine. And that was the same way. And that's why I have been the way that I am with my kids, because I never wanted, even in me and his, and I'll get more to that, I still never wanted him to feel like I didn't love him, because I knew what that felt like. And I have always tried to be the best parent I know to be. But one thing about me, and this is just, it doesn't matter. I'm not, and maybe I'm wrong. I might get a lot of backlash for this comment, but it's the truth. I'm not going to force myself on anybody. And even I was trying to, when he left home, gave him a moment, trying to reach out and still trying to build, and I kept getting rejected. And I couldn't understand. You're my firstborn, and I feel like I'm being rejected, and for what? I was being rejected for a young lady that you met and the family, you know, I don't know. But I had rules and regulations. I always had rules and regulations. And I used to always say to my son, understand something. I have 4 kids. I have 3 coming up behind you. And if I let you get away with something, I'm going to have to let them get away with it. And I'm not going to have a house full of children that I have no control over. So, y'all, look like my clock finna run out on this video. So, look, I will pick this one up later. I love y'all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share, please. And I will talk to you soon. I love you, my BSSTs. Until next time. Bye.